So here we go, the Week 9 wrap-up. Houston, Washington, Buffalo has lost 2 straight. And those top 3 and everybody else is fighting for that 4th spot, especially LA and Detroit of 1953. A big upset if 53 Detroit makes it. That's Group A. Group B, the Chicago Bears in Indianapolis, both 6-3. Jacksonville's 4-4, and the rest is just a quagmire of people trying to survive. Everybody is still in it, and including the 2 Oakland teams at 2-6-1. Don't be surprised if 5, 10-1 get you in the playoffs there. Who knows? But 79 Houston is leading that charge. Group C, Baltimore is one of the best teams. Unbelievable team. Baltimore, the Ravens are second. New England, Tampa Bay with a big win. Arizona is now out of the playoff picture right now if the season ended. That's 9 games. And then San Diego, they're behind them. Denver, don't count them out. Dallas and then Miami and Washington are fading. Group D, Chicago loses a big one in the test. Expect to lose more. The 91 Redskins are a tough team. New York is tied 3 times, 78 Steelers, but the big one, the 86 New York Giants are out right now if they don't start winning. Group E, the New Orleans Saints top the division all the way down to the Minnesota Vikings of 69. Cleveland and LA, 1950 and 1951 teams are 5-4, a half game behind. And New England and 96 Green Bay, those are 2 teams. And Carolina fighting a half game behind. Look at that. Seriously, I mean, that's a full game behind now. But they're all fighting for everything. Group F, the Green Bay Packers of 1962, a very underrated team. Minnesota, Carolina. Carolina's 4-1-4. 4 wins, 1 loss, 4 ties. They got that Premier League football record. And the 89 San Francisco 49ers have fought themselves back in to contention. I wouldn't be surprised if, I don't know. I mean, look at San Francisco, the 49ers of 1994. Who are they going to bump out? I would not be surprised if Carolina ends up fading. But you never know. Cam Newton, that's one heck of a football team. They've scored 250 points. Sorry about this, team standings. That's A, B, C, D, E, and here's F where we were. Group G, Cincinnati of 88 is fading. Group G, the Houston Oilers, love you blue, they're 7-2. They look really, really, really good. The 1990 New York Giants are 6-3. They look even better than the 86 Giants. And I think they are a better football team because they beat a way better football team in the Super Bowl with a backup quarterback. St. Louis Rams, the defending champions, are now 3rd. Seattle is 4th. And New England is a half game back. But watch out, if Oakland gets in the playoffs with the Steelers, that would be huge. Group H, the Denver Broncos, a very dangerous 7-1-1, the 2015 Broncos. But look at the 70 Baltimore Colts are incredible. They're 7-2 and looking good. Miami is 6-2-1. And San Diego, the Miracle Chargers, are ahead of Dallas. Group I, Green Bay and Atlanta tied for 1st, but Green Bay gets ahead because of the conference record. They didn't play head-to-head. Oakland of 76, a solid football team in Dallas. Cincinnati and Pittsburgh of 2005, they got to hurry up. I mean, Pittsburgh is 4-3-2, barely above the 500 mark. They're behind Dallas by a half a game, I believe. 98 Denver, they got to start winning. They got to go out on a roll, on a bang. In New York, Baltimore is tough of 2012. Kansas City is fading. Group J, look at the Baltimore Colts, and this is an ugly one right here. You got 81 and 84 San Francisco at 2-3. Chicago, Minnesota 76. Cleveland of 1986. You have all these teams. Tennessee dropped all the way down. Dallas, New England is 3-6. But they are only a couple games behind, 1.5 games behind. In 2000 New York, not the worst in the world. Teams in standings, that's them. So league leaders for yardage is Donovan McNabb now. Takes over for Eli Manning. The rating, the best one is Joe Montana. Joe Montana, the best rating for 89 San Francisco. He's coming into his own and going very, very, very good. The worst quarterback, Otto Graham, Billy Kilmer. McMahon for Chicago is absolutely horrible now. And that is the biggest one. But I think don't throw McMahon under the bus yet. Remember, he was one of the best pure passers in college. So that is very big. Brown for Washington, the leading rusher. Motley second. But Jackson now for Green Bay is the third leading rusher in the league. You combine him with Aaron Rodgers, you got championship right there. The most fumbles in the league, watch out for Roger Craig. He can cost you everything. That's why the 89th 49ers have 3 losses. Right now receiving the number of receptions, Marquise Colston and Henderson, both of New Orleans, 73 and 70. How about that? Their yardage, it is Thomas for Denver. That's really big. Fears the best average, most touchdowns. Ernest Gibbons with 11. Watch for him in the red zone. And Reggie Wayne, both tied. And the longest reception, Brett Perriman. That was good. Total offensive yards, you have Emmitt Smith and Jamal Anderson. Those are 2 good ones. And Jackson, though, incredible. He's good at screen passes. The most total touchdowns, or I hate saying that name, and Reggie Wayne, both with 11, tied with Ernest Gibbons with 11. Ernest Gibbons is pure receiving. Defensively, Simeon Brooks and Gerald Hayes is up to 99. He had a lot of tackles. He's now 3 behind. And when you take a look at sacks, Lalo Zato, only 1 more, 13. Okevich for Washington, he has 12 in a very surprising Washington Redskin team. Ray Seals for the Steelers has 12 in 1995. Bubba Smith for Baltimore, a miracle team. You don't want to mess with Baltimore. Baltimore is a very good football team. Interceptions, Davis and Kasok for Minnesota of 1969. Fumbles, Bonacane, Singletary, Johnson, Stratton, Hendricks, Hudson, White, Clark, all tied for the most fumbles. I think recovered, nobody scored 2 defensive touchdowns. The kickers, the most attempts is Matt Stover. The highest percentage, we're down to 2 kickers, Robbie Gould and Stephen Auschka. Robbie Gould and Stephen Auschka haven't missed this year. And that is the biggest one, the longest field goal so far, 63 by Jason Elam. And total points, Hauschka is over 100. The punter, Clark, is punted 73 times. The highest average is Andy Lee. Andy Lee, University of Pittsburgh. And he has a 45-6 average. Green for Chicago has the longest punt still, inside the 20. McGuire, Full Hedge, and Parsley. Man, Full Hedge got to start getting inside the 20. And we go to kick returns. Yardage is Brown for Philadelphia, Hardman for Kansas City, and Horn. The best average for kick returns is still Preston Pearson. Incredible. The touchdowns. Hardman for Kansas City has 4. Punt returns, Carter has 34 returns. Most yards is Tate. The highest average is Mel Gray for punt returns. The longest is Henry. And Martin and Garden both have 3 touchdowns. Team stats, let's go to team offense, the leading rushing team. The Miami Dolphins looking very good. The Washington Redskins second. But 2 different total results. Philadelphia, New York, Oakland, and look at Cam Newton having a great season there, but they're 4-1-4. Total offense, Philadelphia, Carolina, New Orleans, Green Bay in 1962. Take a look at that. Green Bay in 1962. What a rushing team. That's an incredible football team. Touchdowns, Indianapolis and Arizona. Carolina's 3rd total points is Baltimore. Look at Baltimore, Minnesota, Indianapolis, Carolina, and Arizona. If you like defense, well, guess what? Rushing yards, the best defense, Baltimore, Chicago, Cleveland, New York, and Atlanta. Atlanta in 1998, how about that? Best passing yards defense. Minnesota, Chicago, Tennessee, Dallas, and Minnesota. That's pretty good, total yards. Minnesota 69, Chicago losing by 17 there. Losing by 10. Losing by 210. Beyond that is Minnesota. That's a full game. Houston and Atlanta. And I don't see the Steelers up there. Points given up. Miami. Miami only 121. Chicago 126. Atlanta with 133. The most sacks, Baltimore. But 3 different years, 2 different franchises. Buffalo, most interceptions of 64. And the most fumble recoveries is Cleveland of 1986. So the most points, as we showed, was Baltimore but the least number of points is Dallas, who hasn't scored over 100 yet. I can't believe 70 Baltimore is leading the league in scoring. So that's going to be it. The week number 10, you take a look at some of the standings. Buffalo and Pittsburgh, Philadelphia, San Francisco. You look down. I'll tell you what, Washington Redskins and Atlanta, that's a big one. Houston and Washington at 91. They're surging. Chicago and Indianapolis. That's a huge one. I think we want to see that one. That would be big. LA and Oakland. San Diego and Houston again. We look down. Baltimore and New York. Nope. We're going to Baltimore and New York. That's going to be an incredible one. And Detroit and Houston, a lot of really good matchups now. The Steelers against the current 49ers. Taking a look at New York, the passing against the 81 49ers. Baltimore again. And you take a look, the New Orleans Saints against Seattle. Minnesota and New England, there are some really good ones. New England and Oakland, Minnesota, Green Bay and Minnesota. Look at that, 62 versus 76. That's a huge one. Look at Carolina and New England. I might do that game. That game is a heck of a game. St. Louis trying to go up against Chicago. The Steelers and the 49ers. The Steelers need to win. I mean, there's a lot of ugly whatevers. Records going on there. Denver and LA, that's a solid matchup. Baltimore and Tampa Bay. Baltimore 1970. The Steelers in Denver, if Steelers lose, they're done. Miami and New England. Miami hoping to run all over them. Green Bay and Baltimore. Green Bay a tough team. Denver and Philadelphia. Denver could go 500 again. Carolina, Kansas City. Atlanta and Buffalo, we take a look, and Cincinnati and Dallas at the end. The 81 Cincinnati wants to go ahead. All right, that's going to be it for the wrap up for week number 9. We will see you next week.